Welcome back to the Coaching Collective podcast. So long overdue. Today I welcome back Millsy. So Millsy's featured in, what do you reckon, five of the podcasts?
Yeah, five, six, something like that.
Yeah. Something big with the boys as well, which is something we actually have to do again. Uh,
Honestly, I missed that.
yeah, I know. And now we've got Jude on too, so there'd be like what, seven or eight of us. Yeah, that'd be good fun.
It's gonna be chaos.
That would be chaos, wouldn't it? Um, so today we were going to basically jump into some of a little bit of a run sheet, but we're going to jump into some of our lessons from 2024 and how we're kind of approaching 2025. But first and foremost, man, how have things been?
Good, man. It's good. 2024 was really, really a crazy of a year. Um, End of the year was a nice little bit of a break, but 2025 we're going to kickstart it even harder. But I can't complain. Everything across the board. I started working with yourself the first
Mhm.
time I've
Yep,
actually
we haven't announced
announced
that.
it.
Yes.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't announced it, kept it under the wraps. Just getting
Mhm.
back into getting that passion for bodybuilding again. I feel like I've not that I ever lost it. I just started getting that hit from clientele
Yeah.
with their journeys. Where now I've really got that itch for my own personal journey within bodybuilding. So who knows what happens with that in the future?
Yeah, because like I said to you as well, when you sort of reached out initially, like I went through that as well, because you do have trouble when you get that first influx and you sort of start to, I'm not sure if this is exactly what you felt, but you position yourself as like more the coach and you're like, look,
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be the athlete anymore. Um,
100%.
and then it just kind of snowballs. It gets kind of worse and worse uh,
Yeah,
to a point. And I'm sure for like anyone listening that can agree, and I'm sure you'll agree as well, when you fall out of training, bro, it's a battle to get back into it.
it really is. It's just it's that routine and habit that I always keep preaching. You fall out of it, it's so hard to gain back. But once you gain it back and it falls into schedule, it's
Hmm.
it's like it never left.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree because I've had it happen too many times. I said to myself this time around, I'm not letting that happen again.
Yeah.
It happened like when I first started PTing. It happened like after I competed the first time. And then like last year was it last year? 2023 was probably the worst one.
Yeah, that was similar to me. Like I was pumping hard, and then I had that injury, the
Mm,
polyneural cyst, that put me out for like ages, man.
mm,
And then it kind of just, all right, I directed all my energy towards coaching, and I'm kind of glad I did. And if I look back, I don't regret it one bit. I
yeah.
feel like sometimes I see it happen so much where people try to balance so many different plates at once, and they all kind of fall off, right?
Mhm.
I feel like when you're first starting out, giving all your attention to either coaching or bodybuilding, whatever it may be, it, it, it picks up much, much quicker.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like you just said, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah.
I feel like going through the phases where I did do that, it almost gives you that point in time. You almost have that pivotal moment where you realize like shit, okay, I got to get back in this. I remember for me it was like when I prepped Trey, Trey,
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. A
And I
crazy
went,
transformation.
yeah, and I went up to Queensland with him and I was at the shows. I think I've said this before on a podcast. That's when I kind of realized what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're like out of shape here and you're trying to associate with these guys and these coaches who are like accomplished.
Yeah. It hits. I always thought it like, does physique matter as a coach? Right?
Mm.
This is a good like chat. I feel like it does. It definitely does, leading from the front, but not as much as I thought it would. Right? Because when I first started, I was like, I got to be shredded. I got to be shredded. And when I first started coaching, I really, really was. Or
Yeah.
like I was just pushing for it and just pushing towards. But then you realize that the quality of your service is more than anything. But when you combine both together, that's when everything kind of propels.
I actually think just you, again, something you might agree with. The periods where I've grown the most as a coach are probably more so the times where I have fallen out of it training.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's because, for me anyway, when you're really wired in, you become very inclined to apply things that you're doing, which are working for you, to your clients.
Hmm.
Where when that's not the case, you're forced to think outside the box and work in line with like research and the client's case and stuff like that. Like, because even right now, it's not unusual for me to reflect on an experience I'm having and think, oh yeah, that would actually work quite well for them too. But the reality is that's not really how things.
It's not always how it works.
Yeah, and
That is
even
a true fact.
yeah.
I never took it in consideration like that, but it is so damn true.
But I think this is why a lot of like some of the not big name coaches, big name athletes who coach do quite poorly. Is because they become so like I guess so much tunnel vision towards the way that they're doing things.
Yeah.
Especially if they're working with like someone who's achieved like good results with them, and there's almost like they have a lot of faith in it, especially if that's different to what they would typically do.
Yeah.
But
It is true. It's like the good old saying. A great athlete can't always be a good coach, but a shit athlete can sometimes be a good coach.
But like we were saying before as well, I think the biggest thing that I notice in being in better shape and treating your stuff more seriously is the authority you have as a coach.
100%.
Yeah. Because even lately, there's been not too much, and it wasn't as extreme as I want to make it sound. I want to exaggerate it so it makes more sense to listeners. Had a couple of clients sort of doubting what I was putting forward, and then I literally just sent them my current progress photos, and I just said, "I'm doing very similar, mate." Like, even though I know that, and they should know, but I know that that's not how it works because not everyone's the same. It's like, okay, so maybe it does have. It's almost like that example is going to get through to them a little bit better than what you linking research and referencing people is going to.
Because they resonate with it more.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're
Mm.
going through like, I had a client that's kind of like struggling a little bit with their cut right now. I'm
Mm.
just like, bro, I'm feeling exactly what you're feeling. The hunger's there, steps are high. It's like, bro, we're both in the trenches. And they
Yeah.
kind of touch base like, fuck, we're doing this together. And it helps. It helps in so many aspects like that.
No, I agree. I had a guy yesterday complaining about being hungry, and then I didn't reply to him straight away. About 10 minutes later, he messaged me, "How many calories are you on?" And I messaged him, and it was less. He's like, "Fuck, sorry, man." And I'm like,
Realization.
yeah, like, admittedly, I don't really struggle. You wouldn't struggle too much with appetite, do you?
Honestly, this week, because I've been delaying breakfast, like meal one,
Yeah.
I actually miss this feeling of hunger. Like I experienced it ever so slightly, but
Mhm.
I love the feeling. I don't know. There's
It
something twisted about it.
depends on the time of day for me. Like, if it's end of the night, I don't like being hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I push everything towards the end of the night. By start of
Yeah.
the day, I feel like I'm way more productive when I got that hunger
Hmm.
signaling. I guess it's like that fight or flight type of situation.
I'm the exact same. Like,
Yeah.
I know I've told you this before anyway, but that first sometimes I won't eat till like 11:30 because I'll know that that like 8 till 11:30 window is like productive.
Yeah.
Triple shot coffee, sipping on L-theanine, some saffron, and oh,
Baby.
they buzz me way too much now. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm too old for them.
I sip it like I don't smack it quickly. I'll sip on it over like 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, that's what James does. Yesterday he gave me a ghost, and I said to Izzy at like 4 in the afternoon, I feel fucked.
The ghost hit different, but I had one last week, man. I felt too wide where I literally had to go do cardio outside to kind of just break
Yeah.
myself down.
Oh, bro, I 100% agree. I got clients to smack them.
Fuck, bro.
And
I
that's
guess
like
the
the
age,
worst
man.
thing. Yeah, if you're on
We
pre-work,
both
do
do.
you do much pre-workout now?
I haven't taken like stim
Yeah.
pre-workout like 3, 4 years now. It's just
Yeah.
non-stim.
I
I
think,
can't do it, man. And I feel like it overstimulates you. Before, when I was younger,
yeah.
I feel like everyone's gone through a phase where everyone's slamming like crazy
Mhm.
amounts. Um, like 3, 4 years back, it was like a leg day, and I did pre-workout. I thought I was tired, and I
Yeah.
went to leg day, and I was just cardiovascular was fatigued. Like I was just so overstimulated.
Yeah.
I was like, nah. Next session did it. So much more productive of a session.
Yeah, I agree with that because I haven't probably used pre-workouts outside of when I was in Europe.
Hmm.
Only in Europe, because sometimes I'd walk into a gym and I'd be on like, because I'd been up since early, I'd see like a ready to go, the RTG Total Wars.
Yeah.
I'd see that in the fridge and I'd be like, oh, all
They do
right.
taste good, but
They taste good and they're fucking strong, bro.
yeah.
Yeah, but I could never do that now. Like
I'll
that,
have like a Turkish coffee.
yeah, I love black coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
black coffee just in the morning, a
Mm.
little bit of a kickstart of caffeine, and that's
Mm.
enough.
See, the problem I have with I got the percolator, like the Italian ones, and the problem is it's a 6 cup.
Oh wow.
So sometimes what I was doing, I would make all six, and then I'd end up just drinking it all. And that's,
Buzzing by the end.
yeah. Oh man, that used to buzz me, so I don't use it anymore. Because my mum bought it for me for a gift. I keep telling myself I'm going to buy a small one, but something about going out and buying a coffee.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%. That's what I like. I'll do my morning cardio, grab
Yeah,
a black coffee down the road, and then walk back and sip on that, and then it's like perfect timing.
it's exactly, yeah. The only thing that gets me on that walk in the morning is knowing that, yeah, I get that coffee. They know my order off by heart as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I
They're
don't,
like meals. Your order.
yeah, I don't even
Everything.
order. I walk in, they just make me wait, and then she brings it out and I pay.
Beauty.
Yeah, but yeah, no stimulants, no way. So I guess like we can kind of try to jump in, but obviously want to keep it as off the cuff as possible. Um, lessons from 2024, man. Where do we start?
Wow, I feel like there's so many lessons, bro.
Yeah, I actually felt like for me, 2023 was more productive than 2024.
Hmm.
I know I've said this to you as well, but I think it was just complacency because I was like, I'm doing well. And I remember because I had a lot of competitors for season A, but a lot of them were like first times and stuff. I sort of thought that was enough for me to just keep leveraging.
Hmm.
But the reality is that, like, it wasn't. And we also realized as a collective, like, you're better off having two really good competitors if that's the intention than you are having 18 who maybe
Heaps.
at their best, but
Hmm.
they're still, you got to think, bro, like other coaches, other athletes, they don't know that someone's at their best or that
Yeah,
you're doing everything you can. But to me, yeah, 2024, if let's to kick this off, I think complacency was my biggest like lesson. You just need to keep being accountable to
pushing forward.
the,
That's
yeah.
a massive one, man.
Mm.
I feel like, I mean, 2024 was the biggest growth for Invictus. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, you had a great year. Yeah.
there was periods within the year where just that, where I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm doing well. And it
Mhm.
was that complacent feel where it's like you're just going through the motion, you're not trying to do more.
Mm.
And in those periods, if I look at the year as like the full 12 months, those periods is where the growth happened the least.
It's funny because I journal.
Hmm.
Like it's as with most people, it's very on and off. And around New Year's, like I was reflecting on the journal and I noticed the periods where I was journaling heavily, the business really grew.
Hmm.
And the periods where I didn't was where the business stood still. And that just shows you, like, that just to me, the periods where I was journaling was where I was accountable to my goals because I like keep my goals in the front couple pages of the journal. So every
Hmm.
time I journal, I'll generally look back on them. And so, yeah, I 100% agree. That's where you see the troughs.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people fall into it. I think our first ever podcast, we touched base about it, the scarcity complacency aspect.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a way. That was in the office.
Yeah, it was the first office. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's so true. I don't know, I don't know about yourself, but I always have that mindset where I feel like everything's going to leave me tomorrow, right? Not
Same.
exactly, but
Yeah,
having that kind of
I
where it's like
know. Yeah.
constantly try upgrade.
Mm,
And I've had periods last year, especially like October was that complacent period where
mm,
there was not growth and it was kind of like slack. Where
mhm.
that's something I'm taking to this year. There is no balance, right? You,
Agreed.
you
Yeah.
balance creates itself. You can't create balance.
Hmm. It really depends on what you, yeah, for people like us, I 100% agree. There
Yeah.
are going to be people that would lean on the side of balance, but if you're leaning on the side of creating your own balance, I think that's like also acceptance that you're not going to like bound forward like you think that you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, because like my 2023 was my big year of growth, and I'd
Hmm.
say that my 2023 was very similar to like your 2024 because I think like in regards to we didn't see much growth in regards to the company, whether that be in regards to client volume or quality of client or my quality of client picked up, but obviously that's because I get to select a little bit better,
Hmm.
etc. Like we didn't see much of that in 2024 until probably like October.
Hmm.
That's one of my big lessons as well, was which you may be able to resonate with too, is just recognizing what your brand is and the values of it, and making sure who you bring into that brand is aligned with that. Because obviously, with our first couple of hires, we were trying to target like a different market,
Hmm.
and very quickly we started to realize it didn't work out, not just on from a actually getting not from getting that market's perspective, but just from the way that those people that we hired would integrate into the business.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
have to be a part of the culture.
Yeah. So yeah, culture is a much better word. So like bringing Jude in, for example, because he's so aligned with the culture, it's just so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one of our, I still think like the making some mistakes there for us was what made the year slower.
Mm.
Definitely. Because even then when we had the first girl leave at the start of the year, I said to myself, I'm not hiring again. And that was a mistake.
Yeah. That's
Mm,
one thing I had a note down, like the
mm,
scaling side of things. I
mm.
remember when I first started, I was like, I can't wait. Scale coach, do
Yeah.
this, that.
Mhm.
I thought it was like happy days, sex appeal, but man, it's not as simple as it seems.
No, I think the biggest thing is like they need to, if you bring someone into the brand, they need to have the hunger.
Hmm.
Not everyone has that hunger, man. Like
Yeah.
you hear that a lot with coaches, like other coaches I know who hire and have trouble. Not bashing on either of the hires that we had. They both, I'd just say, just weren't aligned with the
Yeah.
coaching collective. Yeah, that was more so what it was. But you hear other situations of they hire coaches and they just want to cruise along, get fed clients, sit on their laptops, etc. But then you compare that to someone who like is genuinely hungry to succeed, and it's like you don't even have to push them because they know if they get more clients, they're getting a better reputation. They've got more people to apply to. They're making more money, depending
Yeah.
on where to set that up. Um, And
it's that scarcity mindset even with them.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, because like I obviously have James. James is also on a similar thing where he sort of gets paid according to what he manages, and that does make it. Yeah, like we said before, like while we love coaching and it's still a business where you make money,
100%.
everyone wants to make money. So these guys, if you got that incentive there as well, they will push even when they're not not necessarily, you know what I mean? I can't think of the way to put it.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but I can't
I
calculate
can't
it.
articulate it without it sounding bad.
Yeah.
I was going to say even when they're not like really feeling like pushing.
Hmm.
Yeah, but they're still inclined to because it's their livelihood.
Yeah. It's going to make their life improved financially, everything as a
Yeah.
whole. Oh,
Yeah, because obviously we live quite a good, it's funny because we live a good lifestyle. We have a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom, but at the same time, we don't. Yeah. Like,
I had
yeah.
a chat with a mate. So I left construction for freedom, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Mm,
With coaching, I got the freedom in one aspect, but
yeah.
time schedule wise, there's no freedom.
Nah, it's good because you can move things around and you can travel.
100%.
Let's just take two examples. You can move things around and you can travel freely. They're two like perks of it, right?
Yeah.
But when you move things around, the rest of your day is fucking chaos. And
Hmm.
you're stressed, and the whole time you're doing the stuff, you're thinking, oh shit, like messages are coming through, I got to do this, this, this. And then when you're traveling, you look, for me anyway, I'm looking for planes that have Wi-Fi because I'm thinking I don't want to waste a minute. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Or like you're waking up like I was in Spain at 4 a.m. to do check-ins.
It could work.
I'm not complaining about, but like I don't think it's for everyone.
Yeah. I guarantee it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people, there's no chance they could.
Yeah. But then yeah, it's I always wondered that because I feel like because we're in a privileged position. Obviously, we've worked hard for it,
100%.
but you still need to appreciate that yeah, we are in a position because we've worked hard and we have to uphold that standard regardless of what we choose to do.
Yeah.
Because I'd kill to go on a holiday and just do nothing for 6 weeks like people do in Europe. Like
Yeah.
that would be, I don't think I could do it, but like it would be lovely just to wake up, all you're thinking about is when breakfast is and going to the
I,
beach. Yeah, I haven't
I
had
would
one.
love to experience it. I kind of experienced it for Christmas. I had
Yeah,
a
yeah,
week off,
yeah.
although Bali just turned out horribly wrong.
Oh
But
yeah, no,
anyways,
that's a shambles.
um,
Yeah.
but I couldn't do like that 6 weeks or something, no work. I don't know. I feel like because of my ADHD, I need to be moving. Even
Yeah.
on like this previous weekend was meant to be my first weekend off because I got wedding engagement. It's just packed. And
Mm.
me and the missus were like, we'll relax, we'll do nothing. And then
Mm.
I started a massive project and started doing renters the whole weekend. So
Yeah.
it's like I can't stop, which isn't a bad thing. I love it, but I guess finding.
It's funny though, bro, because I even like to like when we have downtime, me and Izzy, for example, I love doing things like sauna, going for walks, going out to places where we more explore. And the reason I like doing that, right, is because we can actually talk.
Hmm.
And when we talk, I feel like I can come up with cool shit. And I know that sounds super fucked up, but like the thought of sitting in a movie for like 2 hours, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Me me and
I,
the missus are the same. Like being
yeah.
at home, not that I struggle to talk and have a good conversation, but when I go for a drive and I'm doing something, I'm focusing on something else.
Mm,
Me and Santa will have like the deepest conversations, and we really, really like connect there. It's
mhm.
just it's doing tasks that allow you to have that balance.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think what just bouncing back again, one of the lessons I learned in last year was like I don't know as much as or I don't have as much experience as I thought I did as well.
Hmm.
Because I remember, especially with the competitors that I did for season A, um, I wouldn't say I missed the mark, but there were periods where I was like, okay, this is something I'm not super experienced with when I thought that I was. So if you had have asked me in January, February, I would have been like, yeah, I'm ready to take on anyone and get them to where they need to be.
Mm.
Probably only now, like, because I feel like now is the best I've been as a prep coach. Actually, funny enough, bro, one of the things I noticed as a prep coach, right? One of the biggest traits that you can't teach is knowing when to hold your nerve and be
Hmm.
able to say, okay, we had a stale week, but we're going to keep riding it.
Yeah.
And knowing when it's time to say, okay, no, we need to pull the trigger. Because, yeah, especially like being coached by Joe, I've noticed that too. Because he's
Yeah.
very good at like saying, no, no, everything's good here. And even though you're sitting there like, is it? But then
Nervous.
you're like, oh, okay. Like, compared to like when I've been coached by other people where it's very much just like knee jerk, knee jerk, knee jerk, knee jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I was reflecting because with Miggy competing in Texas at the end of the year, we're like, all right, what can we improve? And I feel like I let emotions come
Hmm.
into play a lot of the prep.
Mhm.
where I was kind of like, all right, he's hungry or it's a little bit like struggle this week, and I kind of take in consideration. Of course, you have to, but
Yeah.
not the emotional factor. If the metrics are portraying that he needs a break or he needs a little bit extra food, then do it. I feel like that is something that kind of I want to improve on within this year.
I think that also comes down to the caliber of athlete you're dealing with.
Yeah,
So, like for example, you with him, you'd be more inclined to sort of say, "Keep being hungry." You
yeah,
know what I mean? Because you know he's not going to break.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
wouldn't.
yeah, like a female first time when you try to push through those periods and you know they're going to go haywire.
No.
Clients go haywire before when you continue to push them, even though they need it. But sometimes you might just have to accept, like, okay, cool, we're not going to be as good as we could, but it's either this or we don't make it at all.
Yeah. And I feel like it's what you said. Like you're better now than you were season
Yeah.
A,
Yeah.
and season B you're probably going to be like, oh man, I thought I knew stuff there. I'm way better now. It's just constant pursuit of trying to level up. And I
Hmm.
feel like when an individual or a coach stops that pursuit of trying to be better, that's when everything kind of comes to a halt or goes downwards.
Yeah, but you see that all the time as well, because there's some older coaches that have just been doing the same thing year after year after year after year.
Yeah.
But then also you notice that with some of these guys, no, I'm not really referencing anyone right now, but just things that I've observed is they have the guys at the top that do really well, but they also have some guys at the bottom that do really poorly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's just from applying these principles, which are just rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard an extreme case yesterday of a prep man of an inexperienced coach. It was like 5 grams of gear, man.
It's
Five.
absolute bonkers.
Yeah.
I don't think my kidney could even take that.
Oh, I think that I don't know how the athlete could think that that's okay.
You know what? I feel like some people just portray like a fairy tale land. This is what you
Yeah.
have to do, and this is what you're gonna have to do and we're gonna get first. And I know a lot of people do that.
Mm. It's
Whereas,
hard bodybuilding though, because like even if you promise someone the first, you don't know who's going to rock up.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't. I always say like to my clients at prep, up until the day before the show, we're
Mm.
going for first place.
Yeah.
Everything that we do, every set, every meal, everything is first place. The day
Mm.
of the show, fuck, that's uncontrollable.
Yeah. But guys don't realize that sometimes as well.
No.
You need to set your standards as well. I remember like one of my pivotal points, I think I mentioned this in another podcast, but was in like a couple of years ago when I had like it was a while ago now, it had been 2, 3 years. My first client that did IFBB wasn't my first, it was my second. But the first one I was completely new to it and I actually did all right. I think that was more just because I didn't really know what to expect. This was like 2018, the original one.
Mhm.
Um, and I thought he was like inside out, like lean. And I was like, we don't need to be leaner than this. And we got there and I was like, okay.
He had another 4-5.
Yeah, like no, it was more like you saw how lean some of the others are, and you're like,
Mm.
all right, well, that's possible. And that's where like experience comes into it too.
Yeah, experience is a massive, massive part there. I feel like, yeah, you just develop from every client that you prep more and more and more, and it just
Mm,
accumulates. You look at like a lot of the top coaches that are performing in the world right now,
mm,
they've got so much experience, and it just keeps
yeah.
building.
And the stress load of it's like quite like changes drastically too. Because if you ever speak to like, for example, I spoke to Joe about preps in when we're in Bali, and obviously he's done that so many times, and he's just so zen about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, compared to where I've seen other cases where it's a scramble. And I've even noticed that over the years. I've gone from someone who scrambles, runs around, looking over the athlete every 10 minutes to sometimes thinking, oh, no, we're good. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
days where I cruise the athlete in, I look at them and I say, yeah, you're sweet, dependent on the client.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, what else I want to say? How did you find traveling with work last year? Did you travel last year?
Yeah, we did. We went on three trips, four
Yeah.
trips.
Was Cambodia last year or was that?
No, that was Cambodia was last year and Thailand was last year as well.
Okay, cool. How do you
Um,
managing that?
I like work wise, I personally don't mind if I work on a holiday. I really
Yeah.
don't. It's more so for my like partner.
Yeah.
That was the harder bit. My biggest issue was internet. Like,
Oh yeah, he said that in I've told Izzy that actually.
yeah, that's why I'm just so like I don't see myself going back to Southeast Asia for a bit, just because
Yeah.
I'm so petrified by the internet connection.
Was
Uh,
Thailand bad too?
Thailand, the hotel that we got, I feel like was terrible, but then we switched to another hotel and it was still shockers.
Because I know Bangkok in particular has internet outages quite regularly.
This was in Phuket.
Yeah,
I
Phuket
had
is
issues.
worse.
In Bangkok, it was actually good.
Yeah.
We got like a nice hotel there, and it was like that was perfect. If we stayed there work wise, that was bliss. I woke up in the morning, check-ins were flying, like cruising through. I'd
Mm.
finish by like 1, 2, and then we have the rest of the day off. But it's not holidays aren't what it seems like as an online coach.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say because when we got back from Europe last year, I did reflect and realize there were some weeks or days where I was like, I'd love to be home right now. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah, especially at the end of it. When we were in Dubai, we did 2 weeks in Dubai, and by like the second week, I said to Izzy, I can't wait to leave.
yeah,
Like,
you're done with it.
let's
That,
get
that,
back
that
in
was,
London.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was Thailand. We left Thailand 3 days early
yeah. Oh,
because,
did you? We
yeah,
considered leaving Dubai early, but it cost too much to change it.
yeah, our one was cheap. But even like, I mean, Bali's separate thing, but we left it early. I don't know, man. It's something I like being home, bro. Like,
I need to be in this chair.
yeah,
Yeah, because
for
I did
sure.
cafes for a while, especially when I moved into this area because they're everywhere.
Hmm.
And then I just reached a point where I was like, nah, like I like just being in the desk.
Yeah. I'm way more productive. I've tried to work on my laptop, just to change up scenario, like even in the kitchen.
Yeah,
And it's something about being in this chair, having the screen, like having everything set up that I'm used to. I'm a creature of habit. When a
yeah.
habit's instilled, it's so hard to change it for me.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. But and then and even when you're away and you if you're working a little bit of a shit spot, you cop it badly as well.
No.
And you also feel like if something goes wrong when you're over there, it's like a bigger deal than if something goes wrong here.
Yeah, that was 2023.
Yeah.
When I had that 45% reduction in clients, like everything just went bad. I
Yeah.
put that down to the holiday that we're on. Even though the holiday, I was doing everything
I
kind
remember
of
you
even
telling me that.
quicker,
Yeah.
but I just connected everything to being on that trip. I don't know if it was just like reply times, like time difference, zone differences, but
Yeah.
now like we're gonna go Europe in May, my sister's birthday. I don't think we're gonna go. I just want to stay at home, man. I just want to stay at home and I just want to crank out 2025.
Yeah, I feel like if you had like real stability while you're away, it wouldn't be too much of a problem.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you are going to be distracted because like even when I'm away, it's a constant battle of okay, cool, I got to work, but I want to spend some time enjoying myself today too. So you do rush things.
yeah.
And that's when the business end falls off because you sort of service the clients first and then you move to the business element of it.
That's the thing. I feel like when I travel, the clients don't get affected. Like the
Yeah.
coach-client relationship is just more so like business owner and working on the business, the back end
Yeah.
that definitely gets affected.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Um, but yeah, no, because we're gonna hopefully travel again this year. But I've sort of reached that point where I'm pretty okay with it from a business perspective, as long as I keep on top of things.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do recognize that it does induce stress because we lost heaps of days last year where I just have to put in full days. Remember one day in Malta, shit was going haywire, and it was like, all right, today's just a full day of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting up on the balcony just all day, just trying to sort my shit out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Cambodia. Cambodia, we were there for 2 weeks. I think I had 1.5 days off where we did a task. It was just
Yeah.
chaos, man.
Wait, what was the trip originally where you said you had that, like the issues?
So it was Thailand
Yeah. Of
initially.
course,
That was that was the first experience of it, and then
yeah.
Cambodia was like really bad.
Yeah. Always Bali's easy, eh? Oh,
Yeah,
well, fuck, not for you.
yeah. Bali was a bad experience.
Yeah, Bali sucks, bro.
PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's easy for us because obviously there's just work spots everywhere. But they're also like even when we went recently, it reached a point where we're like, all right, we're ready to leave now.
No,
I don't mind my routine, man. Like,
neither.
yeah,
I like having that week off. I felt way more stress than when
yeah,
I was just at home, just cruising through a normal work week.
yeah. No,
It's
no,
one of
exactly.
the things. Creature of habit, man. As soon as you put me like to do nothing,
Mhm.
I'll start going nuts mentally.
I don't know about you, bro, but do people ever comment on how much you work?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you ever like notice that sometimes when they say it, they kind of feel sorry for you?
Hmm.
And do you ever think to yourself, like, I'm like the happiest I've ever been? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's literally like my cousins are always, man, why are you working? Like whenever they
yeah,
come over,
yeah.
I'm working stuff like that. They're like, man, don't you like drive yourself crazy? I'm like, nah, I don't know. There's something about work, man, that just puts so much serenity in my head. I'm just so relaxed.
I'm the most relaxed at this chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe when I'm walking. It's a little bit of a walking kick because the weather's so nice at the moment.
It's bliss. Yesterday was shockers. Yesterday, the walk outside, at least this area,
It was hot.
it was so dry, bro. So
Yeah.
dry.
Today's not as warm, actually.
Today's
Yeah.
not. I don't mind, bro. I'm kind of keen for winter. Well, not winter, but just
I'm
before winter.
never keen for winter.
I say this now, but then winter's gonna come. I'll be like, fuck, give me summer.
I want to be, I just want to like be, I would love to just leave Melbourne every winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do like last year we were away, so like everyone would be complaining about how cold and miserable it was, and I'd be sitting there like, oh, and then I got home and I'm like, that's not that bad. It's not hot.
Yeah, coming in spring.
Yeah. But it's been a big difference in regards to my mindset around being at home too since I moved out with Izzy as well.
hmm
That's a
that's easy.
it's
Yeah.
a whole different level, bro. Um, but yeah, I guess the next thing I sort of had written down here, bro. What are some of the traits of the best clients you had in 2024? Doesn't need to necessarily be the best clients. Just what are some traits of, I guess, the good clients?
Punctuality,
Yeah,
massive
punctuality
one.
is huge, bro.
Yeah. I find clients that are just on time or even before when they're meant to just submit it are the
Yeah,
clients that are seeing the most results. They're eager. They're keen to have everything locked in.
yeah.
Massive part.
Yeah, no, because I actually said to one of my guys last week, he doesn't usually check, often checks in late on a Wednesday. And when he checks in at 5 in the morning, because that's when he starts work or 6, I know that it's been a good week.
hmm
Yeah, because I feel like that reflects, I'm a big believer in like how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Everything.
Yeah, and that reflects into all other areas of the life. If that's all on point, it means that you're probably on point with everything else too. Don't get me wrong, I have clients that are super punctual who still struggle with like adherence and things, but
Yeah.
it's less common.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and if I had to go, so punctuality would be the first one. If I had to go further, good communicators is obviously key. I think one of the ones actually that's been of recent is like, you know how I mentioned before, keeping the nerve.
hmm
The way someone responds to like hurdles, roadblocks, or things not going right plays a big part in it too. The guys who do well are the guys who can have a like things don't go according to plan for a week, and it's like let's keep going. Do you know?
Navigate around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a guy the other week, he'd always like say, "Oh, this isn't working," or this, and I'd be like, "Bro, like stop reacting like this. Like you just need to communicate with me. Hey, mate, weight's held. Like this has been bad, and I'll make it work." But the second you're getting emotional about it, it stresses me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, okay, I got to keep this guy happy rather than I got to do what's right for this process.
Yeah, it's find that balance between the two, 100%. Because there's going to be so many roadblocks along the journey, right? There's no perfect journey. As much as we would love it, it's just having the mind, which something I wrote down. It's not having that 12-week diet
Mhm.
mentality. It's having a lifestyle mentality.
Yeah,
And when
no.
you're living that lifestyle, it's like something gets thrown in your way. It shouldn't really change much. Just find
Yeah.
a way to navigate around it and find a solution instead of the problem.
Mhm. One of the things I've raised with clients lately as well is like, especially clients going into prep, I say to them, when you're going into like a comp prep, you don't need to look at it as like it's this all out effort where everything needs to be perfect and your whole life flips on its head.
Mm,
Literally, you're eating the same, but less.
yeah,
Do your step count like normal. You do cardio if you have to do it, which you should be doing anyway for good health, at least twice a week. And I'm not a huge cardio pusher outside of specific cases. And you're still going to be training. Like, what changes?
yeah.
And that
No.
goes through any phase. Like, you can just integrate that along your lifestyle. But I think it's a little bit easier for someone like me to say that because I am busy. It's much easier for me to be in that routine because of the obligation that I have compared to someone who like knocks off at 5 and doesn't have to think about work after 5, for example, because that's downtime. Where my
That's
downtime is created when it can be created across the day.
Yeah, that's a massive part. When you have so much downtime, you have so much like
Mm.
room to think about the stuff that is minuscule. Where
Yeah.
you're busy, you're constantly on the go. You don't really have time. You're just like, all right, let me just tick the boxes. Let me keep moving forward.
Mhm. Yeah, but it's all about ticking boxes, man. Like just all of it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and just finding balance as well. Like you obviously want to find balance in it too with recognition of like how things would trade off. But there's I've touched on this plenty of times before, but like just the way people handle like or conduct like for example, you'll have someone who heads out on the weekend, has 10 beers, gets a chicken parma. Like that doesn't need to be the context of an enjoyable time. Yeah, and that's going to play a big part in like what is your definition of balance?
Yeah.
That's not balance. That's going too far the other way.
That's abusing it. Yeah. It's finding
Yeah.
that pendulum swing in the middle.
Yeah. Or like the guys that see that string into like a whole weekend. I do notice obviously across the weekend, things become more difficult for people, but that's where it's important to keep that routine. But it is easy for people like us because we still have to maintain some kind of structure.
Yeah, there's still structure on the weekend. And that's something that I always touch base. Like with my lifestyle clients on Saturdays is like the one day where if you're a lifestyle client, I don't expect you to be perfect
Yeah. I
7 out of
always
7
say off
days.
plan at least once a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
an off-plan meal on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Make the rest of the day work around it, and just make it about the memory, right? An off-plan meal. Let's say one Saturday can be you're craving a dirty sloppy burger and a
Yeah.
donut. Go enjoy it. But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that next Saturday has to be a dirty sloppy burger and a donut as well. It could be a
That's
steak and potatoes.
that's what some people see as their like their off plan meals.
It's that food driven mentality, man. It's such a my goal, like always, to start first 3 weeks. If a client wants changes with their meals and they're bored of it, I don't allow it.
Oh,
Not
really?
not because I'm trying to be a dictator or anything. It's just more so, all right, you're bored of this. It sucks. But let's push through it for another 2 weeks so we
Mm,
can detach ourselves from being so food driven. Because I feel like in the Western world, we're blessed with an abundance
yeah.
where I feel like as soon as we're over something, we're like, oh, fuck it. Let's throw this out. Let's do something new. And
I like,
pushing through that where it's like, all right, this sucks and I'm bored of this and it's annoying, but I'm
mhm.
just going to do it for another 2 weeks. I'm going to reprogram my brain to be like, right, this sucks, but I'm still getting it done and results are flying. And then after that, if they want to change, then I'll do the change.
Yeah. I generally do less change in the first few weeks just because I feel like when someone's motivation's at its highest, it's a lot easier to do what you want them to do.
100%.
Yeah, and they'll listen as opposed to like as things go on, people will dwindle on vegetables, dwindle on potentially fruit, ask to simplify things. But I don't mind that, provided they actually enjoy the meals from the get-go.
Yeah,
I've seen.
that's why the onboarding, I'll always touch base. Is this something that you hate? And if they
Yeah.
hate it, then I'll be like, all right, let's substitute it from the get-go.
You know the problem with that is, bro, they never ever remember everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, or there's something that they just don't like. Get a lot of guys like hate coconut water in shakes, for example. Oats, I've had plenty of times people just don't like, which makes no sense to me. I kind of like oats.
Uh, and oats was like my
Yeah,
life back in the day. It was like 4 meals a day.
I have 2 oats a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like my favorite. I do with casein protein now, actually.
Fuck, I haven't touched KC in like 5, 6 years.
Well, our Foundry Andy, he does casein at the moment, and he
Mhm.
gave it to us. And at first, I was like, nah, too thick and too heavy. But now I'm like,
It
I
sits
can't
well.
go back to the others.
Do you do it as like a Ganesh on top or do you mix it in?
Nah, I mix it in. It just
Okay.
becomes very thick. But like, because we have like Emerald Labs, Izzy likes that one,
Mhm.
and I sometimes just chuck the scoop of that in just to like preserve some more of the caseins.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. Like I just said to it, no, I just need to have my
Straight
chocolate and
casein.
vanilla casein. Chocolate and vanilla, I don't think there's a point in any other flavors either.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
slaps the basics.
yeah. No, protein powder for me just needs to be vanilla's my favorite.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Because vanilla is usually always the one that nobody fucks up.
Yeah.
Very rarely somebody fucks up.
The only problem with this protein here, it does vanilla bean, so it's not vanilla ice cream.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I like that. I can
Yeah.
imagine that not everyone would in the world though.
Yeah. It's more like organic vibes.
It tastes like real vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, vanilla ice cream tastes like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
But
I feel, I feel like another good trait
mm,
that I feel like we need transparency from the client side.
yeah, transparency.
And that could mean like I have a slip up spot on the daily check-in. And a
Mm,
slip up doesn't mean that you had a burger and a pizza always, right? A slip
yeah.
up could be I missed meal one
Hmm.
or I didn't have a pro. That is still transparency. When you tell your coach like ins and outs of everything, the more detail you give to us, the more
Mm,
understanding. Because let's say, for example, the weight drops overnight, and we're like, all right, what's causing this? We got
mm,
all our meals, but then in reality, they missed meal one and meal two. So
yeah.
just so we have a bigger understanding, be complete transparent. That could be a biscuit off plan.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I agree. And I actually, believe firmly, I can pick up whenever someone's lying.
Hmm.
And sometimes you almost don't want to believe that they're lying.
Hmm.
You know for sure. And it's always going to be those little things. Yeah. And people just think, oh, it's not a big deal because I'm like 100 calories over, but they accrue across the course of the week. I'm sure you may have had this, but I've had clients before who undereat deliberately and they say, I'll still under calories.
Hmm.
And I say, that's not how it works.
Not how it works at all.
Yeah, no, like that's literally just going to set us up for long-term failure.
But even short term, like I've had situations where somebody overeats and
Yeah.
they'll undereat 3, 4 days to try and make up for it, and
Yeah.
then that will induce a whole binge episode, and then it's a binge spiral, and then it's just like week to week to week. It's
Yeah, I never encourage him to undereat afterwards. Sometimes I'll encourage him to undereat in the lead up to an
yeah,
on plan, just calorie.
calorie bank.
Yeah, but even then, it depends on the context of the person. Like, so if someone was like deep in a cut and they were heading out, then I would potentially encourage them to calorie bank. But if it was someone like early in a cut or in a surplus or around maintenance, I'd just say just go and enjoy.
Enjoy.
Don't eat like a pig and let's deal with it the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not unusual as well when people, I'm sure you might have experienced this too. I know we're going like sort of more into depth, but people when they want to continue to push through cuts when you know as a coach that they're done, like
Hmm.
you don't know they're done because you always look at them, there's always more fat to come off, but you can just tell that you're sort of there,
Yeah.
like mentally, and then they still want to push on. 9 times in 10, that is the worst 4 to 6 weeks of the client's. journey. And then almost your wasted time is spinning your wheels. And it also kills their mentality too. I've
Yeah.
seen it heaps of times. Now I try to nip that in the bud pretty early.
Hmm.
Had a guy the other week who he went on a trip for Bali. He was in awesome shape for Bali. He came back, I want to do another month. And I was a little bit like, probably shouldn't do another month, but he was adamant he wanted to do another month. And then within a week, he said to me, I think we need to wrap it up. Like I'm sort of,
Okay. Yeah.
and I straight away just replied, we're wrapping it up. Like
Yeah.
there's,
Straight
I
away.
know where this is going to go. Um,
That,
yeah.
that's actually a good point as well. Like a fat loss phase doesn't always have to be one spurt where you go from being overweight to absolute shredded.
Yeah.
If you're getting to a point where you genuinely are struggling to stay adherent and you're struggling with the hunger and stuff like that,
Mm.
going through a little bit of an improvement phase, picking up the calories instead of just forcing it where it's causing binge eating or and shit like that. Go
Mm.
up a little bit on calories for a couple of weeks and then let's go down again.
I actually always, whenever people have choppier periods, like I have some that have like off-plan events 3 times a week, especially in December, I always pull them back into maintenance because I say I'd rather make conductive use of training and use that as the sole focus throughout this period rather than literally be chasing recovery of these spikes in weight for 4 days of the week to go back into another probably like likely food bender. It depends on the nature of the events, but you got to think you got a Christmas party where everything's provided, you got a wedding, and then you got a birthday, like 4 and 5 times. You're not gonna keep controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
need to like all of these events and try to keep a tab. You either don't partake at all or you do partake in totality.
yeah,
Those kind of events, like a wedding, for example. Yeah.
yeah. Next 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah, but I got weddings. I got a wedding every week from next weekend I got James's Bucks. But after that I got weddings all the way to like mid-March.
Yeah, I'll start this Saturday, then I got one after, and then one after that, and
Yeah.
then 2 weeks up. It's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to them, but at the same time it's gonna be
Yeah.
full on. It's the first because I've never been that guy that has heaps of weddings, so I don't have like a huge circle. Yeah, and this is like the first year where it's like, okay.
Same thing with me. No, normally I'm excited for a wedding, but when
Yeah.
it's just back to back to back,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, going completely off topic here, but like even like I remember when you think about it, like buying a gift, buying a suit for us or just for a girl, for like someone who's like bang on the middle class, it's stressful, man. Yeah.
110%.
Like even thinking about because I remember I had this first realization with Christmas because obviously like now I do well enough that that's not a concern what I'm about to touch on. But I remember even when I was like up to like 22, 23, like you don't have as much, you don't care as much about money. So like if you spend your whole you live in a
Every
home,
weekend.
whatever. Yeah. But I remember when I got my first full time, like 23, 24, and then it came to Christmas, I'd be so stressed about buying presents because of the financial burden of it. Because you're
Mm,
dropping like upwards of $1,000 for nothing really. Yeah. So I always reflect on Christmas and I think these guys that do struggle for financially, these kind of periods must be so tough for them.
yeah, because if you feel like you have to do it, but then it's
Yeah. Well, you can't
causing havoc.
even not give like a $200 present.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, well, I can't. Like, I know that it costs almost that much for the people's whose weddings that I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Like with
yeah.
weddings, especially like with us Serbs, it's
Mm.
you're giving out like a small loan almost.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I know.
It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, no, like, yeah, it's a stressful period, but yeah, just the back on back weeks is going to be the toughest one with work and stuff as well.
Mm,
But fuck, I guess that's at the end
make
of
it
the day,
work.
you work to live, you don't live to work, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes we have to remind ourselves with that. Uh,
Yeah, but to be honest, like I enjoy working so much that's not a problem. But when you sort of go to events, sometimes people are just talking about like their jobs the whole time, or I got to go early because I got work in the morning and stuff like that. I do think to myself, like, this is what you're living for. Like these kind of events, these birthdays, these weddings, these nights out, and you're like itching to get home because you want a good night's sleep for your job. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, which
yeah.
is a job. It's not like their own business because when it's your vision, it's substantially more exciting.
Yeah, you're willing to go the extra mile.
Yeah, like me when I do like if I, for example, we put like I've discussed this with you. I'm not going to obviously disclose what it is, but like that new thing we're doing for the business, and like I'm excited to do that. It's a bit of a
Yeah.
headache, but like when I did it, like the other night when I started thinking about it and planning it, it was like 11:30 at night, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like this is,
Yeah.
you know
You,
what I
you you get carried away and you're doing it in
mean?
like I've done AMs where I'm just like, bro, where the fuck did the time go? Like,
Mm.
but then you force me to do like, I don't know, build a house till the AMs. There's no fuck. Yeah,
Yeah,
anyway.
there's no fucking way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no. My downtime actually for me is actually between like 8 and 11 o'clock at night.
Mm,
I'm not
same.
sure if you feel the same. Yeah,
Yeah, same.
that's when the phone's not checked. I've finished everything. I've usually eaten, sometimes I haven't, and I just sit on the couch and do nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just nothing.
yeah.
I feel
Scroll.
like, yeah, that. that's a massive part.
Mm,
Not pointing fingers at anybody or
mm.
stuff like that, but it's more so understanding that your coach is also a human being.
But I actually was going to raise that with you as well, because one of my next thing was going to be like, I think respect is a very big thing for the client. I think as well, it's important that I do point this out. And it might be a little bit hard if you are this client. There's no one that I'm specifically referencing. I don't think there'd be anyone who I specifically coach right now that I look at like this, but there has been in the past. As a coach, if a client is being disrespectful towards me, being very pushy, being very needy, it does influence the way that I coach them.
Hmm.
Because number one, whenever I open that check-in, I'm thinking, how can I make this guy happy? Rather than what can I do is that is best for them.
Hmm.
Number two, I'm anxious when I see their messages and their check-ins pop up. Because I think to myself, okay, what's going to be in there today? Okay, I got to do this early because I know that they want it early, or things like that. Um, so I'm sure you get the same thing, man. You got a full inbox, full inbox of check-ins. Those
Yeah.
guys that are super cruisy, provide the data. Obviously, everyone's going to be stressful at times because maybe they've had a bad few weeks in terms like progress is moving. But those smooth criminals, you get excited. You get excited to open the check-ins because you're not. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
know it's going to be like everything's aced. We're moving through it. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah. I had a client apologize today for being so boring within weekly check-ins and being
Yeah.
repetitive. I was like, bro, you're not being boring. You're just getting everything done every week. Like
Yeah.
this is one of those clients where it's as close to as linear
Mm.
everything throughout, and it's showing through visuals and weight and everything.
Mhm.
It's a nice feeling.
That's
But yeah.
yeah. Because when I prepped Julian the first time, obviously I can talk about him because you know him. He would be very erratic, like always just emotional based responses. And this time around, I've said to him, number one, try not to do that. He still does it though.
Mhm.
But the thing that I've said to myself is I'm trying to completely disconnect from anything emotional on his end because I just want it to be a robotic process. And we have not missed a mark since starting,
Yeah.
especially because we're moving through his prep a lot slower, deliberately. He's obviously had his moments where he's like, should we be further ahead? And he sent me things saying like, oh, we need to be further ahead, blah, blah, blah. And I look at it and because I'm friends with him, I say, no, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just let me do my job. And like just doing that's been such a big difference. But obviously you can't be in a position with all clients who are potentially being like that. This is
Yeah.
not really a respect thing. This is just sort of just trying to be a little bit more, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's a complete. I feel like I've pushed it into a whole different topic.
Yeah, we're pushing in a
Like,
different direction.
yeah.
Yeah. But with him, he can continue to be like, because I've said to him, don't be like that. And if you are, just be aware it's not going to impact the decisions that I make.
Hmm.
He said to me the other day, man, I can't stop thinking about food. He's not on low food. And I said to him, oh, well, like,
Yeah.
this is what you're
Emotion.
doing, bro. This is prep. Like, and we're not ready yet to peg you back up or give you a high day.
Yeah.
Where,
There's
yeah, there's a
the
difference.
emotional hunger, massive, massive part. Physical hunger and emotional hunger. So
Yeah.
many people. I feel like 8 out of 10 people fall into more the emotional hunger than the physical hunger.
Yeah, I feel like people don't even realize when I generally rule it back to people as like it's neurological.
Mm.
It's a dopamine related
But,
pathway.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because you pull guys food down one week and they're complaining, oh, I'm craving, I'm craving. I'm in the deficit at the moment, I do crave. But hungry, no.
Yeah. But I mean, cravings are normal,
Yeah.
right?
But I see a burger and I think, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
100.
not hungry. The other night I finished like I had 2 meals in one and I was full as and I still saw burgers. I'm like, that'd be good. But I realized,
Yeah.
I'm not even hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like quarter pounder.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've been craving quarter pounder. I'm just not. I'm not going to even utilize it for an off-plan meal.
Yeah.
Craving it, but I've had it after steak and potatoes and veg at night. It's just emotional hunger. You're trying to get a dopamine hit out of it more so than I always use the analogy. If I put a kilo of broccoli in front of your face, or I wouldn't advise doing that, but if you're
Mm.
physical hunger, you're going to smash through it. But if you're
Yeah.
actually hunger, you're going to be like, nah, 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 I don't want to eat that.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. I don't reckon I could eat broccoli even if I was on my deathbed.
Yeah, I mean, neither. Bad, 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 bad thing, but
Yeah, I'd rather be. I remember when I was prepping the first time, like in 2018 or whatever, 2019, sorry. I discovered that pumpkin was really low calories, and I'd cook it up every day. And like I reckon for the first week, 5 of like the 7 days, I just left it there and just said I'd rather be hungry than eat this shit.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was starving at the time. Um, yeah, fuck, pumpkin sucks, bro.
I don't mind pumpkin if it's like very soft. But
Yeah.
broccoli and cauliflower for me is that where I
Okay.
feel like
Yeah.
if I'm starvation mode,
Mm.
too bad, bro.
I like pumpkin like if it's at a restaurant.
Yeah, like in a katsu curry.
I would never make it. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, I forgot about that. But now back to the respect thing. Yeah, respect for the client, the respect for the coach is very important. Like we have lives, we have partners. Like I received some like weird messages and I had a guy aggressively message me on like a Saturday night once, and I was out, and I just said to him, "This is not on, bro. Like
Yeah.
problem, you do it politely or you do it the next day."
Yeah, it's being respectful for it, man. It's
Yeah.
uh just because you're paying for a service or something like that doesn't mean that now you can abuse it. It's like
Mhm.
you wouldn't go to a doctor and start spraying your doctor or messaging your specialist at 9 p.m. on a Saturday and expect
Mhm.
him to reply. It just
Yeah.
doesn't happen. We're no
Mhm.
difference with that.
Yeah. And like at the end of the day, like I think as well when it comes to communication, again, just going on a different direction with communication, as long as it's within a timely manner, you don't need I don't think as a coach we need to instantly reply.
Yeah.
I think as a coach, as coaches, we need to reply with the detail that we
Hmm.
require. Because I remember I was getting coached by someone, like I won't say when, just so we don't rule it down to who it was. And the response time was always really good within an hour, yeah. But it was always vague
Yeah.
in like
Basic.
where I'd need to ask again. And I realized that it's not about the speed. Speed is good, but I would rather him have taken 24 hours to reply to me
Give
and
you in depth.
cover my questions in the depth that I wanted than to be replying quickly like that. Unless it was something simple like I need
Yeah.
help with, you know what I mean? Like, but simple questions, you know what it's like when you get a simple question come through from a client. Like, oh man, the spreadsheet for the supplement doesn't line up with the app. Like,
Yeah.
which one's correct? 2 seconds, follow the app. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Nice and simple. But yeah, I feel like that's what I do. If it's a quick reply, like somebody's even a little bit later at night, if it's a quick reply and they need it quick, I'll reply. But if I see something that requires a longer duration of my attention,
Yeah.
then I'll either open it and read it just to make sure it's not an emergency and then reply on it tomorrow. It's not like I'm leaving them on scene or anything. It's just more so I need more time. I'll do it tomorrow.
You leave red receipts on too, don't you?
I believe so.
Yeah, me, I do as well, but most
Yeah.
people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do more so I can see the clients if they see it or not.
same as me, man. Because I've turned it off before, and sometimes I've messaged someone like, hey, man, don't forget you haven't checked in, don't forget to check in. And then you can't tell if they've read it. So it's like,
Yeah.
have they acknowledge this? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or even if you ask a question, it's like, oh, have they read it? Have they not? If they've read it, it's like, I'll follow them up again. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, they could just be busy right now or at work or something. I do find it weird. We've actually started just with something you could probably do as well, because we do all our communication through WhatsApp. When they sign up, they're going to get like an automatic test. All our new clients will get an automatic test message.
Hmm.
You just say, can you please confirm that your WhatsApp notifications are on?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I notice sometimes that's an issue. And obviously you tell them, but they forget. But if they get that text, I feel like it's just reassurance of that.
Reminder. Yeah, that one's a massive one. I've had so many people where I'm messaging, and they're not replying. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
bro, sorry, notifications. Because usually WhatsApp for a lot of, I mean, before coaching world,
Yeah.
I
Mm.
never used WhatsApp. WhatsApp was like the app you used to contact your auntie back in the village.
Yeah. Or the group chats with the family while they're traveling.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we have Messenger as well, where my family do group chats, and I've just moved them to WhatsApp because I never check Messenger.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have everything else muted. I even have Instagram muted.
Same as me.
WhatsApp is the only one that's open. Me.
I only have emails and WhatsApp on
Yeah,
notification.
yeah.
Actually, I lie, bro. I don't even have notifications on WhatsApp. The notifications pop up, but they don't buzz.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense? So I
Yeah,
keep my phone
yeah.
on do not disturb all day. I just check it at intervals because otherwise the phone's buzzing all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same. As soon as I start work, I got it automatically to switch on.
Yeah. Well, you got to think like even right now, like we're on this recording and like Jude's message has popped up, which is sort of important. Um, but like that distracts me. So imagine if that was going like buzz, 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 the whole thing. Like
Mm.
I know you can just turn it off during a
Like,
podcast. But think about it. You're doing a Loom, you're on any kind of consult, whatever. Yeah. And also it's just peaceful, man, because when that phone's buzzing, 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 it gets
yeah, sometimes it stresses me out. Not for any other reason, just more so like
mm.
I'm doing a task and now there's more stuff popping up. Is it a bad thing or not? When you have it muted, it's just boom, I complete my task at 100% quality.
What I do, I keep notifications on for like the team, so like James, Izzy, and that, and
Mm.
just a few important numbers. So like my like accountant, like my property managers, stuff like that, and then just prep clients, I turn them on for too.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, just because I want to, especially as they get closer, just so I can make sure that I'm
on
on top
top
of
of it.
that stuff. Yeah, but also one of the other things, the phone doesn't ring through when it's on. When their numbers pop up, it still rings through.
Hmm.
When the clients ring through, I mean, like that's why I said before, like the accountant and stuff.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they can't get a hold of me, bro.
no,
Yeah. But that's been, I remember Rick actually got me onto doing that, and I was like, fuck, I never thought about
it's the
that.
best thing ever, man.
Yeah.
There's
Especially
so much craziness.
because we're at the computer all day, you don't miss messages. Like I never miss messages. I never miss emails.
No.
But the only reason I started turning on emails is because otherwise I'd sometimes not check them when I'm not at the computer, like say across the weekend, and like you get an inquiry, you get a bill come through, or
Yeah.
something important. Because I always tell people when they need to contact me, like for professional services, always email because that's where I'm best.
Yeah.
I'll say if they need to call me, I say just email me and I'll reply straight away.
Easier. Yeah, I do. Sanita has access to my Gmails.
Yeah,
So she will like categorize it. If I need something to touch base on,
yeah.
she'll let me know within WhatsApp. And then
Mm.
I'll go look at it. Otherwise I just yeah.
I think anyone that deals with me as like a professional loves me because as soon as a bill hits that inbox, it's paid within like
Nice and quick.
yeah. Because whenever I've had videographers, they're always like "fuck already," and I'm like, it's there. Like I just need to.
Yeah.
I
Better
just
to get it
need-
done quicker than sooner.
yeah. Otherwise, it just feels like it's a task that I have to do later.
Yeah.
I guess the final point here, bro, is goals for 2025 and what we want to do better. I think we discussed this, bro. What we want to do better, more authority, bro, more respect for our
Mhm.
is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the authority aspect, uh,
Mm.
not in a negative connotation in any sense or anything like that, but just more so like we've done the back end stuff for a while, whereas now it's like, all right, we want to work with serious clients. Like
Mm.
I believe we both touch base. I don't know about yourself, but I've pretty much capped my clientele now,
Yeah.
where I'm just going to be working with like high performance PD users slash competitors. And outside of that, it's more so Kiara and Avin now that are going to be taking a lot of the other clientele.
Yeah,
And-
because I had that moment last night where I realized, yeah, I'm done. Like
yeah.
people, unless there's someone who, oh, one in, one out's always fine.
Yeah, yeah, like that. But it's like a cap spots. And it's not even that I can't do more. I can definitely fill up like another whole day of check-ins, but it's just more so I just don't want to. You know
Yeah,
what I
and if the team's doing well under you, it's not doesn't matter because a lot of the
mean?
guys sometimes they like are very insistent on wanting me, and you learn pretty pretty soon into the process that okay, they probably didn't need me.
Yeah,
Hey, we used to get that with girls, and now I actually like don't take on any lifestyle girls anymore
yeah,
unless it's like a referral, which is like a strong referral. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. That's similar to
Yeah.
what.
I just felt like I didn't, for me, it was more I felt I didn't resonate particularly well with lifestyle girls, unless they were someone who wanted like that harder edge. Or
Because
someone that I worked with for a longer time, because now I've got a few that I worked with for a long time, but they know how I work and I know how they work, so it's easier.
yeah, you connect well.
But when I get asked for like all these recipes, I'm like, mate,
Yeah, that's pretty much what because Kiara is very good when it comes to that, being creative with recipes and stuff. I'm a
yeah.
little bit more of a meathead, not complete like 1980s meathead, but like a 2020s meathead. Um, but all the stuff like if they want creativity and if they're a female that's lifestyle, you're going to resonate more with a female when it comes to the mesh cycle, the whole lot. So they just go pretty much straight to Kiara now.
Yeah, no, like that's pretty much what I do with Izzy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get as many like lifestyle females come on as we do like lifestyle males.
Mm.
At least at
Yeah.
the moment. But yeah, Izzy, Jude's taken a couple as well. He's done really well with them. And James is quite good with the lifestyle girls, actually.
Mm.
Strangely enough, he actually took over one of my clients the other month. And she came over yesterday because she just bought me a gift from overseas.
Mm.
She just wanted to try something new. She's been with me for like 3 years. And when she was running me through what James is doing, I'm like, fuck, all right, you probably made the right decision here. Taking into account everything. Like, he had her doing a couple of Pilates sessions. He had her doing like some kind of functional training. She was like functional. He had all these different meal ideas, and I was like,
More in the lingo.
yeah. I'm
We're
like,
too
okay,
meathead.
maybe this is his forte now. Yeah,
That's another thing. I feel like we're not going to have coaches on the team that we don't truly believe in. So
yeah,
when you're coming on board, it's like whether you work for myself or Kiara or Avin, we're all going to be able to provide a similar service. Of course, everyone has a little bit of a niche, but you
mm.
know what I'm trying to say by that?
Yeah. I know it's
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because I'm the same. Like, I wouldn't have them under me if I didn't have complete trust in them.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
to be honest, actually, when I have any doubts around it, we just reach out. We've done it before, provide
Mm.
feedback.
Yeah.
Um, but there are cases where like there's been like very, very few, but there's been case of client dissatisfaction. I actually had a girl reach out for that regarding one of the coaches, I won't say who, quite a while ago. And she reached out to me and I reviewed everything that I could. And I went back on her and I said, I'm sorry, but this is not a coach problem.
Mm.
She took that so horribly, bro. But sometimes, like, yeah, I guess another point to take away. Sometimes it's not the coach. Sometimes it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to go into more detail with that one, actually. But yeah,
Under the wraps.
yeah, that one's good. But yeah, no, we would never. I would. Yeah, I have complete trust in those guys.
Mm.
Sometimes I hear Izzy's work and I think, fuck, she's better than me.
Yeah. 100%. Because we all have,
I
that's
love
what I told.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want Kiara or Avin to be like me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, your personality is your personality. Let it shine.
Yeah.
Be unique with it. But we all follow the same protocol,
Mhm.
stuff like that, of course.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like, yeah, back to the like, I guess just to soften up that authority concept as well, it's just more making sure that we have expectations very clear. Those expectations are followed because if those expectations are followed, you are going to be able to see things through and see through the results. And
Mm.
it's not going to have like an impact directly or indirectly on the way that we go about conducting the coaching process because you don't want to be in the position as a coach where you're just trying to satisfy the client rather than trying to get the best out of them. Because at the end of the day, the best way to satisfy the client is going to be the best to get the best out of them within their boundaries. Because obviously, sometimes they're going to have, let's talk in PEDs, they're going to have limitations. They need to be respected and communicated. There
Hmm.
may be times, just to make this very clear for anyone listening to, there may be times where you say, I'm really not comfortable with what you're recommending me to do there. That's fine. Like I want to hear that because there is nothing that I ever would want to tell someone to do that I don't that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And in that case, I'd say, cool, here's some things to just understand a little bit better, but we're not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Which links to that transparency. Just
yeah.
be honest. We're not going to bash you down for not wanting to do something or you're not enjoying some aspect or you're worried about something. Just verbalize it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then we don't know, right? We'll give you a protocol or whatnot, and then you're like, fuck, I don't feel safe doing this. And
Mhm.
whether you're half-assing it, you're not being honest. Just be honest. Bring it up, and then we can find a solution for it.
Yeah, because I've been in that position with coaches before where they've told me to do things that I wasn't comfortable with, and I just ended up lying to them.
Yeah. Same
They
as
didn't really hear it, and I just realized I don't want to ever be that coach. So, like, I had someone I was recommending him. I didn't recommend, that's the wrong word. I said, "Have you considered growth hormone?" And he was really like, "Oh, I'm not too sure." We did a phone call. I ran him through it all, and I said, "Here's some information. It's your decision.
yeah,
You want to do it. You're the one that's choosing to do it. But if you don't want to do it, not a big deal."
yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that was the best way to go about that because you get some young guys who will do whatever you tell them as well, and you don't want.
Which I don't like.
Yeah,
I
yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I
I would
like to get
agree.
questions. I like to get questions.
I
I know.
like, yeah, I like to know that one day when they discontinue coaching, which should well, inevitably happens with most clients, of course. No one's going to be with you for 10 years. Well, fuck, I've got some long-termers, but like, let's just be. Um, you want to know that they're going to be able to walk away and know what they're doing. It's not just going to be like I've had guys wrap up and then they'll message me like 8 weeks later and say, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And it's like, number one, I'm going to help you anyway because I'm not a shit cunt.
Mm,
But number one, like I'm not inclined to help you here. But number two, did you not learn from what we or have already done?
mm.
Like the idea should be that you can take it away and do it. Um, yeah, because it's funny because I've had guys say to me before, I've learned everything I need to know from you, and I think, have you?
Yeah, they haven't asked much questions. That's what. Yeah,
Yeah, because I like questions, man. Like I want to
me
hear from,
too.
especially with check-ins, man. I've added a questions section to my check-in, which is very clear, where it's like, I please ask questions for educational purposes only. Like there's always been a question line which was like questions regarding the planning, but this is like questions for education,
Yeah,
so I can go through. And I love that. I always start on them when they're there because that's where I go thoroughly.
yeah. I enjoy that. Like I enjoy turning into a little bit of like a geek teacher, whatever you want to call it. Because
Yeah,
one, then you give the confidence to the client that you know what you're talking about. I feel like if you can't teach something, then
yeah,
more than likely you don't know the information yourself.
I agree. And if you can't dumb it down either,
Yeah, simplify for prep. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, but like, yeah, my main thing for 2025 is just going to be to remain accountable and diligent and to deliver the best for all the clients I have, but also as well to take back a little bit of time for myself and to focus on the other coaches as well and really keep them
100%.
up to speed. Because one of my big ambitions was getting James and Jude up to like to where I want them. Yeah. So that's the prime ambition here. And I know if I can get them up to a good speed and a good balance, their successes feel as good as my successes anyway. So
It's like a proud moment behind it, bro.
yeah. So like if they were to have like eventually have a client like win an IFBB Pro card, like that's I'm
Yeah,
gonna feel the same joy as they are, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty happy to get that. I'd love to be in that point. It's gonna take time. But
yeah.
yeah, it's gonna take time.
We're definitely on the right course, man.
As
We're
long as
definitely on the right course.
the head down, keep it. I think the biggest thing as well is as we get bigger and do better is to just keep our values and remember our the reason why we initially
Right.
started doing this. Because I feel like a lot of people when they start to get that little bit bigger, like the trajectory that we're on, they do forget that you're coaches. You're not just a business person.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like as soon as you go into that full business mindset,
Yeah.
it can be a slippery slope.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah.
balance of both, man. Balance of both.
It's funny because when I deal with my own clients, I'm very, very sympathetic when it comes to things. But when I deal with the others' clients, it's a little bit more like
Yeah.
these are the rules. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah. Which is, I guess, why it's important to have, I guess, certain people taking care of certain parts of the business so you
100%.
can deliver your service. We've discussed this. We'll wrap up there, man. Thank you very much
Beauty. My pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
for coming, bro.